Cyberware is a brand new mod for Minecraft 1.10.2 developed by Flaxbeard, and it allows you to add augments to your body. But the way in which you do this is the really cool part. The developer of Cyberware likes to compare the themes of the mod to games like Deus Ex and Shadowrun. Now also keep in mind this is a very early version of this mod, so definitely expect changes in the future. But with the mod, you can do things like add augments to your body that give you super jump boost, 3x3 crafting in your inventory, lots and lots of health, and cool things like the auto swapping of tools in your inventory, and lots more. So every once in a while in nether fortresses, you'll come across a loot chest. And in that loot chest contains the first thing you need to get started with Cyberware, and that is the Robo Surgeon. So after you've hunted down your Robo Surgeon, you're going to want to make one of the only craftable recipes in Cyberware, which is the Surgery Chamber. And you can just go ahead and plop it right down like this and put your Robo Surgeon right on top of it. And if we right click on this, we have access to this really neat GUI here. And as you can see, we can zoom in into certain body parts. And I know this looks very confusing right now, but trust me, I'll explain every detail as much as I can with the knowledge that I have. But just know that this bar is called your essence bar. Every augment has an essence cost. There are ways that we will be able to manipulate the essence bar later on, and augments also have a power cost, which we'll get into in a second. Let's say we want to zoom in on our lungs and take our lungs out. If we walk into this chamber here and close the door, see, we start taking damage really quickly, so we want to go ahead and hurry up and put our lungs back where they were before we die. And actually, look at that, we died. My point here is you're going to want to replace your human body parts with their respective robotic versions, or else they will give you negative effects. And in this case, it was death. Removing other parts like your eyeballs will cause blindness. First off, I'll just do a little run through of all the body part slots that you can replace with augments. This slot, of course, is your brain. These two slots here are your eyes. You can actually just use right click to zoom out, by the way. This slot, as you saw, are the lungs, and so is that actually. And behind the lungs is your heart. Right here are your lower organs, or your stomach. These are your arms, and this is where you'll put hand augments. It doesn't actually have a human version at the moment, but you can augment them. And then of course, these are your legs, and this is where you'll put your foot augments. So as of this version of the mod, the only way to obtain your augments are not from crafting recipes, but from killing cyber zombies. I'm sure there will be crafting recipes or some way to obtain them in another manner in the future, but right now, everything has to be obtained from the cyber zombies, as I just said. Now, if you were lucky enough to get the cyber eyes as one of your first drops from a cyber zombie, then you found your perfect first augment. So the cyber eyes, if we hold shift over the actual item in our inventory, it says it gives us immunity to blindness and enables cyber eye upgrades. And it also requires this weird thing that we haven't discovered yet called power. And the cyber eyes just require 1 power per second when in use, and they cost essence, which again is this bar here. And we'll get into power in a second, so if we just click on our eyes here and replace our human eyes with cyber eyes, walk into the chamber, close the doors, of course. It did some damage to us. Recommend you walk in with full health, of course. And we've now got our human eyes back, and we do have the cyber eyes installed on us. So these currently will not give us any immunity to blindness because, of course, we don't have any power. And also you can see that it took 10 of our essence away. The first step to kind of getting an idea of how much power you have is acquiring a HUD jack. And you see it displays internal power info. It allows upgrades to overlay a HUD. Costs 1 essence, and it does require the cyber eyes. So you need the cyber eyes. Let's put it there and walk in, of course. And in the top left there, you can see there's a little icon that says we don't have power to fuel our Cyber Eyes. Now, another craftable item that you can make is the Cyberware Charger. And when standing over it, it will charge you up, assuming that you have a battery on you. I've just cheated here and got an RF Tools creative power cell here. This is just for demonstration purposes. And it's now charging up with some RF. And we're stepping over it, but it's still not doing anything. We still have that little warning up there. Now here are all the currently known augments that can produce power for you. We have the cardiovascular coupler, which pretty much just passively generates power per second when you have it in your heart augment slot. We've got an internal battery, which stores 3,000 power, and an ultra dense capacitor, which stores 60,000. And just in a second, I'll demonstrate how we charge these up. I think you can probably guess that. We have the metabolic generator, which I think produces power from food, and then solar skin, which produces energy while you're standing in the sun. For the sake of this video, we're only going to be using these capacitors today, so we need to place this in our lower organ slot. Let's walk in our surgery chamber. And watch what happens when we walk over this charging pad. We're getting all charged up, and now our Cyber Eyes are able to function. As you can see from the HUD jack, we're able to see just how much energy or power that we have stored in our body. So now we can just get to the fun stuff. We've gotten all the boring stuff out of the way. Now it's time to have some fun. So the sun is setting, and I think I've got something cool that will be able to improve our vision in the night. I've got enhanced low light vision. And we have night vision. Next, I've got a liquid refraction calibrator. Requires 2 essence. Let's go and try to find some water. So yeah, basically it just allows clear underwater vision. Next here, I have a targeting overlay, and this actually requires Cyber Eyes and a HUD jack. And 1 essence, of course. And this just allows you to basically see enemies through walls, kind of like that spectral effect. The next thing we have here is the distance enhancer. And we now have the ability to zoom in using the Z key, and as you can see, you can zoom in very far. So now we're finally getting into Cranium Augments. And the first Cranium Augment I have here is the Cortical Stack. And let's just go and drown ourselves real quick. And notice that we have 19 XP on us. Now if we head back to where we died, this is actually a Graves mod here, but it doesn't matter anyways. We got an experience capsule back. And if we right click, we get all of our levels back. So that is what that augment does. Very cool. So I've got an Enderman here, and every time I shoot him, he just teleports away, and it's very annoying. So the next thing that I have here is the Ender Jammer. So we're shooting this Enderman, and he is not teleporting. He's also not taking damage either, which is kind of strange. The game must not even expect you to shoot Endermen, so I'm not sure about that. Next, the Neural Contextualizer. And I've got a pickaxe, a shovel, and an axe here. Now let's just switch to an offhand slot here. Start punching this tree, it automatically switches to the axe. Start punching some grass, automatically switches to the shovel. And if we start punching some stone, it automatically switches to the pickaxe. Now we're going to start augmenting our lungs. The first thing I have here is the compressed oxygen implant. Let's jump in this pool of water. And look at that. Look at all that oxygen we have there. Well, next we have some hyper oxygenation boosts. And it says that we can install up to 3. But they cost 1, 2, and 3 power per second when in use, depending on how many you have installed, and 2, 4, and 5 essence, depending on how many you have installed once again. So we'll just go ahead and install 3 right off the bat. You can actually just install them all at once. You can see we're going a lot faster as we sprint, because that's exactly what the hyperoxygenation boosts do. Let's add a liver filter to our internal organs. Let's see what happens when we eat some rotten flesh. See, normally we would get hunger from that rotten flesh, but the liver filter makes it so you get no negative effects from food or drinks. Next, the adrenaline pump. Let's go and drown ourselves once again. And once we got low enough, we gained some speed and some strength. If you're in the heat of the battle and you want to escape and do some damage and you're low on health, this would be really good for you in combat. So we're going to add something to our muscle slot called the wired reflexes. I'm just going to show you what this does right away. So the first gives you faster attack speed, second, ready weapon when attacked, 3, automatically face attacker. So there's 3 different tiers of this. Requires 2 power per second and 11 essence when you install 3. So I've got a zombie here. Let's just go ahead and turn away from him. As you can see, the moment we were attacked, it equipped our sword and it turned us directly towards the zombie. So moving on, I'm actually going to install 2 at once. This time I've got a myomer muscle replacement, faster movement speed, increased strength, and bone lacing, increased health. You can install 5 of these, which costs up to 15 essence. And then we're going to put these bone lacings in the bone slot. But it's not going to let us place all these bones in these slots. We're going to need to take some neuropazine, and these are normally found in dungeon chests, but it lasts 20 minutes and it's anti-rejection, so no matter what, I probably didn't need to take that many, probably just needed 1. And what this does is it allows you to apply augments past the red limit here in your essence bar. But keep in mind that if you hit 0, you will die. So check that out. So we have 20 hearts and strength and speed, all thanks to our anti-rejection. So next up, we are going to get a left cyber arm, which enables cyber arm upgrades, but it does cost 25 essence. And then we're also going to get some fine manipulators. And check this out. Now in our just regular inventory, we have access to 3x3 crafting. Be careful not to take both of your arms off because you will not be able to interact with anything or mine anything, so that would be very unfortunate for you. Let's also get a reinforced fist. So now we're able to mine cobblestone with our fists. Now we're going to get into leg augments. So I've got a right cyber leg, which enables cyber leg upgrades. So just put that right there. And right next to them, we'll put a linear actuator. I was trapped in here for a little bit because my leg wasn't charged, so I kind of had to cheat my way out. I somehow managed to clip through the doors here, so I was able to make it to this charging pad. But I recommend putting your charging pad underneath the surgery chamber. I believe that will work. So now we have a little bit of a jump boost, and if we hold shift and press space while holding shift, we get a jump boost forward. It claims that this is more powerful if you have 2 cyber legs, so keep that in mind. So there's my short overview of cyberware. There's quite a bit of things that I didn't cover, for the simple fact that some of them speak for themselves and some of them I couldn't really reproduce them easily. The threat matrix calculator gives you a high chance to dodge attacks when in light or no armor. The cardiomechanic pump gives you immunity to weakness. Internal defibrillator I couldn't get working. The platelet dispatcher, I couldn't quite reproduce that. Stem cell synthesizer, couldn't quite reproduce that either. Subdermal spikes hurt attackers when in light or no armor. It speaks for itself. Synthetic skin, if you go into F5 mode, you can see all of your cyber limbs, like your arms and stuff, but if you use this synthetic skin, you're able to hide them. The citrate enhancement gives you fall damage resistance, retractable claws, stronger unarmed attacks, and implanted spurs allows you to travel quicker on horses. So definitely give this mod a try. Obviously, it's still in its early stages. Of course, I'll put a link to the mod page in the description, and and I hope you have a lot of fun with cyberware.